In today's video, we will be talking about how to add a patina to your piece. The reason you may want a patina is to draw attention to details that you've added. So we can see in this ring, we have a nice pattern to it, and if you can tell, you can see that the areas that are indented or depressed have a darker color to them than the higher areas or the highlights. So this piece I did add a patina to. And then here's another example of a piece that I did not add a patina to. So it's still a very nice silver, no black in it at all, no darker colors, just simply silver. So it's up to you to decide whether you want to add a patina or not. Here you can see the difference between the two pieces. As we know, sterling silver will naturally form a patina over time, or rather it's a tarnish. The results of this are usually undesirable, and we often will polish it off. We can, however, apply a patina that will give us a nice antique look to our pieces, and we can control how the piece looks. I typically use two different products to apply a patina, but there are many more on the market. The easiest that I have found to use is a product called Midas Black Max, which you can get from Rio Grande. The second product I use is Liver of Sulfur. And this is an extended life gel. You can also get it in a dry concentrate, but I find that the gel is easier to use and I think it has a much longer shelf life. You can get this from Amazon or jewelry supply stores. Most of the time I work with the Midas Black Max because I find it is just easier to use, and it doesn't have the smell that the Liver of Sulfur does. Liver of Sulfur smells like rotten eggs, that typical sulfur smell that you get. With the Black Max, you will just get a nice gray color or dark gray. With the Liver of Sulfur, you'll find that you can get a range of colors, and depending on how long you dip the piece, you can get golds, greens, blues, purples, up to the dark gray. So they will progress through the colors, typically. I have two rings that I'm going to apply a patina to. I have one that is set with a stone already, and one that I have not set the stone in. For the stone set ring, I'm going to use the Midas Black Max. I find it easier because I can just paint it on. It doesn't need to be heated or anything like that. It's very quick. The unset ring, I'm actually going to use the Liver of Sulfur, and I can show you the differences and how they look. And this one will require me to have a heated solution, and I'll dip the ring in that solution, bring it out and check it, and I can keep dipping it. Because I don't have a stone, I can do that. But if you're working with an already set stone, many times the patina will not affect it, but you don't necessarily want to chance it either. Some more porous stones can get that in there, and it can change the color of the stone. So we're not going to chance it. We're just going to paint around it. And I'll start with the ring that has the stone set in it, and we will start with the Midas Black Max. The first thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure that your pieces are nice and clean. So I have already cleaned these pieces, and I cleaned them in a dishwashing liquid, ammonia, and water solution. And I'll post the recipe in the details of this, or a link to the recipe. But you want to make sure that you've cleaned the piece. I typically just clean it with a warm ammonia solution and take a soft toothbrush and just make sure that I have all of the oils and debris off the ring. And you want to make sure that after you clean the ring that you don't touch it with your fingers, because the oils from your fingers will get on the ring and it can affect the patina and how well it takes the patina. So I usually wear nitrile gloves when I do this. You also want to wear gloves anytime you're working with these chemicals, because you don't want it to get on your skin. The liver of sulfur especially can stain your skin as well. Easy to use this Black Midas. I will use either cotton swabs or a paintbrush to apply it. And today we're just going to use a cotton swab. So I just actually dip the cotton swab straight into the bottle of the Black Max. So we're just going to get our cotton swab damp with the Black Max. And you'll see it's pretty quick. So we just start painting it on. And you see how it's immediately turning dark. And it may take a couple of passes, but you just keep painting it on until you get the color that you want. And you see it's already gone down into around that bezel. So I'm going to paint it on, trying not to get it on the stone itself. And it's going to be ugly at first, but we're going to fix this. We'll remove what we don't want. I'm going to get some more on here because I want that to go down in between my decoration and my bezel. You'll notice I have 2 cups on the right of me, and the first cup here with the spoon in it has a baking soda and water solution. After I get through applying this patina, I will want to neutralize it in that solution. And then the cup of here is just water, and I'll rinse it after I rinse it in the baking soda and water solution. I find also by doing it this way, I don't use very much of the Black Midas, and I don't want to waste product, so that works well for me. So I'm just going around making sure that I'm getting all of the silver coated. And this is a woven, a twisted wire ring band, so it's got lots of crevices that I want to get into. I want to get that back plate. I want to get this wire detail around the ring. So I'm trying to cover everything. You see it's pretty dark gray. Alright, that is the finish that I'm looking for. And now I just want to put it in the baking soda and water to neutralize that. You don't want to miss this step. If you don't neutralize it, what can happen, it looks fine in the beginning, but a few days later, week later, you'll notice that some gold or yellow will start to show up on the piece, especially where the solder may be. And that is caused by not neutralizing it. It still kind of continues to work. So we're just going to dip it in this baking soda and water, rinse it real well. Okay. And then we'll rinse all that baking soda off in just water. If you don't rinse it in water, it can leave a little film of baking soda crystals on it. You don't want that either. All right, so our ring is rinsed. And we'll set this aside, and I'll show you the other one using the liver of sulfur. And once we're done with that, then we'll take it and finish it up, and you'll get a nice bright finish, not this kind of dull gray. So right now, it's not looking very pretty, but it will. The next one we're going to do is with the liver of sulfur. So I have a container of hot water here. You want to use hot water. And then the liver of sulfur, to mix this, I just kind of shake it first before you use it. And then I just take a plastic spoon and I dip it into the liver of sulfur and just get some on this end of the spoon. And then I just mix it with the water. And you'll get this kind of brownish colored solution. Make sure you close up your liver of sulfur. Good. Set it aside. So now I've got this stinky solution. It smells like rotten eggs. Get that mixed good. And now I can take my other ring, and since I don't have a stone set in here, I can just dip it into this solution and let it sit. And you don't want to just dip it in there and forget it. I find that taking it in and out of the solution helps it along. So you can see just from being in there just a few seconds, you get these really interesting colors. I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but it's got some blues and greens and purples, really beautiful colors. It's not what I'm going for. I really want a dark gray. I'm going to put it back in the solution. But if you have a piece that you want some color to, this may be the solution for you. Alright, so we're just continuing to go through colors here. And sometimes this can take a bit of time. And we're starting to get darker here. We still have some blue in here. I can see some greens. So I'm going to keep dipping. Kind of moving it around. I find the hotter the water, the faster it will go through the colors. You can use the solution cold, but it'll take a lot longer, and sometimes you never get to that gray if that's what you're looking for. Neither of these products gives you a super dark black. I believe there may be some products on the market that do that, but typically I'm just going for that dark gray. So we're getting closer. We'll leave it a little longer. Sometimes it even helps to put the piece under hot water before you put it in the solution. That seems to help it along. But I'm sitting at my desk, so I generally do this at the sink. Alright, we're getting past the colors and into that like steel gray color. Let it go a little longer. Looking pretty good. Let's see if I can get it any darker. It's not quite as dark as the piece that I did with the Black Max, and I may not get it to that darkness. Ugh, it really stinks, y'all. Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. I'd share with you. Alright, I don't know that it's going to get much darker than that. And it's about as dark as what we got with the Black Max. So I'm pretty happy with that. Again, we need to neutralize this. I'm going to set this aside. In the baking soda water solution. Just rinse that real good. We're good there. And then we'll just rinse it in our water. Dry that off and take a look. It's pretty good, pretty dark. So this one we just dipped, the other one we painted on. Got a very similar result. Now there is, I see a spot here. If I like rub on it, it comes off. But that's a piece that I want highlighted anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. Now if we look at these side by side, that's probably hard to see on my black glove. How's that? Is that better? You can see they're very similar in darkness. I think the Black Max might be just a tad darker. But I'm happy with that. So the next step will be to take it over to, I'm going to take it over to my ultrasonic because I have my ammonia solution in there. And it's heated, so I'll show you, but you don't have to have an ultrasonic. You can just make up a batch of that ammonia solution, warm it up, and we will take a soft brass brush and brush over this, and it will kind of burnish that. It'll get rid of this haze that you see, because we want it shiny, right? So it'll change the look of it. And that'll be the first part that we do. I'll be careful with this one not to, brush over this stone. In fact, I may just use a Scotch-Brite on this one so I can control it a little better. But if you use a soft brass brush, make sure you get one from a jewelry supply place. You can get brass brushes from the hardware store, but those are too stiff. You want a very soft brass brush. So when I get this set up over by my ultrasonic, I'll come back. Okay, here's my ultrasonic cleaner, And like I said, you don't have to have an ultrasonic cleaner. You can just use the ammonia solution, but hopefully it doesn't fog up my camera lens. You can see my solution is pretty dirty, and I need to clean it, but it still works. So I'm just going to take this piece that doesn't have a stone in it. I'm just going to dip it in the solution. I talked about a soft brass brush. Mine's well worn. I need to get a new one, but very soft. It's not going to put deep scratches in my piece. So I'm just going to dip it in here, get it wet. This helps lubricate the bristles, and just start to brush around here. And you see that, hopefully you can see, as I do that, it kind of takes that haze away that we saw on the piece, and it shines it up. But it doesn't remove the patina. So it's like I'm kind of burnishing that in, getting rid of that haze. It doesn't take a lot. Just push it a little bit. Plus it's cleaning the piece again. Right? So that's all I'm going to do with that one. Set that aside. For this other one, since it has a stone in it, I'm just going to take, I've got this Scotch-Brite pad, and I will more carefully, so as not to touch that stone, just brush on this piece, get rid of that haze. Doesn't work quite as well as the brass brush, but it's okay. So what we're going to do after this is use some either fine sandpaper, like really fine, or the polishing papers that I've used in the past. The 3M polishing papers work really well. You can even use fine steel wool, like an ultra fine steel wool. Alright. So I've got those. I'll cover my solution back up. I'll take you back over to my desk. Now that I have the patina applied to the rings, I'm going to use my polishing papers, just progress through them as I've shown you in other videos, to get the polish that I want and to get the patina off of the high spots. So I'm just going to come in here with the coarsest, the 400, and start working on this. And you can take away all of the patina if you're not careful. So you really just want to hit the high spots. And just with a little elbow grease, you can get that patina off of those high areas. I mentioned too, you can use fine steel wool. It's really up to you what you want to use. back plate will take a little more elbow grease to get it off. That's the finish that you want. Sometimes it helps if you have a flat surface. I just wrap this around my sanding stick. If that isn't quite getting it, then just take your 1000 grit sandpaper, come along and take off what you don't want. And you can see you're getting a nice finish with that. You can see in the dark, you can see the recessed areas are dark, the higher spots are highlighted. You can see those details much better than you could before. So you just finish it out as you would normally and then set your stone. And that's how you add a patina to your piece. When you're done, if you're using the liver of sulfur, when you're finished, you can dispose of that safely down your sink if you neutralize it with the baking soda water solution that you used. Just pour it into the cup with the liver of sulfur. Let it sit for a while. It first goes cloudy, and then I think it clears up a bit, and then you can just simply dispose it down your sink with no harm. Hopefully you'll find this useful, and you can start to add some nice patina to your pieces. Happy torching!